The most insane twist ever possible. The Case of Linda Slaten, case number 4. The family of Linda Slaten has been longing for justice for more than 40 years. She passed away in 1981. A clothing hanger was used to strangle the Florida woman to death, who was discovered in her residence. She has been violated. A DNA test has resulted in an arrest. After 41 years, Linda's suspected killer is now anticipated to enter a guilty plea. You will be shocked to know if you found out who killed her. Hello folks, and welcome to our channel, True Crime Network. Today we'll examine the specifics of the Linda Slaten murder case. A suspect has been detained and charged with first-degree murder more than 38 years and 3 months after a Lakeland lady was discovered dead inside her flat. Police in Lakeland, Florida woke up Jeff Slaten, 15, and his brother Tim, 12, on September 4th, 1981, and informed them that their mother, Linda Slaten, had been killed. A palm print was removed by investigators from the windowsill where the killer had entered, along with a rape kit. Numerous individuals were interrogated, but no one was ever charged, and the investigation was abandoned. Joe Mills, Tim's football coach, frequently drove Tim to and from practice before and after Linda Slaten's murder. The young child looked up to Coach Joe and proudly displayed a picture of his football squad with Mills standing behind him in his room. Years were spent by Linda's sons living in constant fear of the guy they dubbed the Monster. Nearly 40 years later, developments in DNA technology identified Coach Joe as Linda Slaten's most likely murderer. "I looked up to this guy," Tim said, "and I've had a picture of him in my home ever since without realizing it." Jeff declared, "He's a cold-hearted monster, that's for sure." When their entire life turned upside down, Linda Patterson Slaten, a single mother of 2 teenage boys, Jeffrey Slaten, 15, and Timothy Slaten, 12, was born on March 8, 1950. Although they had few resources, her family still recalls her as a loving and caring mother who did her best to raise her boys. They had relocated to the Florida city of Lakeland in the middle of 1981, a few weeks before the tragic event. On September 4th, 1981, Linda's sister, Judy Butler, visited her home to enjoy their customary Friday morning coffee. They had started this ritual when Linda moved to Lakeland. The latter became suspicious when she did not answer the door despite several knocks and turned around to discover that her bedroom window screen was missing. When she looked inside, she discovered her sister's lifeless body on the bed. The Lakeland Housing Authority's John Allen, a nearby maintenance worker, was notified by a distraught Judy and made the 911 call. When the detectives arrived at the site at about 8:30 a.m., they discovered Linda's dead body with her dress pushed up from the bottom and down from the top, revealing her privates. Her pants and shoes were apparently all over the floor, and they reportedly saw her gashing from the vagina. She had been strangled to death with a wire coat hanger, which was still coiled around her neck. Later, her autopsy revealed that she had been sexually assaulted. The odd thing was that except for the missing window screen, there was no indications of a struggle. If you are looking for an alibi, shoot the subscribe button. The Slaten brothers moved in with their grandparents after this horrible incident. They had to adjust to life without their mother as their new reality. The brothers went back to school and their regular routines a few weeks following the burial of their mother. Tim explains, "I believe I just started experiencing life again while being with friends, going back to football, you know." Frank Slaten, Linda's ex-husband, became a figure of interest while detectives looked for the murderer because of his history of mistreating Linda. Jeff claims that before their divorce, his father was a violent alcoholic. But gradually, it appeared that the investigators were confident that Frank was at home in Alabama on the night of the murder. Linda had a lover who was a person of interest at the time of her death, but he also had an alibi. Detectives first had trouble entering the home because all the main entrances were locked. And at that moment, Judy had the dreadful realization that her young nephews were also inside, and nobody knew for sure if they were okay or not. Thankfully, when they entered through a window, they discovered both boys asleep in their respective rooms. Later, Tim, the younger son, recalled, "I observed the crime scene. Today, it's still fresh in my mind." The medical examiner conducted an autopsy and used a sexual assault kit on Linda's body as it was being transported to the Lakeland General Hospital. Semen was discovered in her body and a fingerprint was also taken from the crime scene, according to the later police reports. When the DNA did not match anyone in the databases, investigators had very little to go on because forensic science was not as advanced as it is now. In order to reconstruct the murderous night and perhaps identify possible suspects, they were forced to question her boys. Timothy, Tim, Linda's 12-year-old son, told the police he was at Winston Elementary's football practice with his coach, Joseph Clinton Mills. The latter drove the boy home that fatal night and was a coach for the Lakeland Volunteers football team. The young mother had come out to thank him for giving her son a ride, according to court documents, and Joseph further asserted that he had not only never gotten out of his car, but had gone practically right away. The Lakeland Police Department was unable to identify the criminal because they lacked any tangible proof and had exhausted all other options. Over the years, Linda's boys stopped by the station on occasion to inquire about the latest developments, but it eventually became apparent that the perpetrator would never be identified. Her eldest son, Jeffrey Jeff, once admitted bluntly, "It's been hard on me my entire life not knowing who killed my mother." But in November 2018, a breakthrough was made when the authorities turned to genealogy, a cutting-edge forensic analysis technique. This method, according to specialists, compares an unidentified DNA profile to those found in public genealogical databases that were established with the help of everyday people like you and me voluntarily contributing to them. Joseph, Timothy's football coach at the time, who was in his 20s, was the investigators' last potential match. His fingerprints matched those at the crime scene as well. On December 12, 2018, he was detained on suspicions of first-degree murder, burglary, and sexual battery. Two of Slaten's grandkids who had never had the chance to meet her spoke to Mills and the judge as well. Following the testimony of the still devastated family members, Mills went up to the stage to give his defense. "I'm a decent person. I'm not who they're making me out to be," he declared. He claimed to run a successful business and to offer opportunities to others. Mills was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole by Judge Kevin Abdeney. "In a sense, it's not over since he's still moving. My mother isn't. I went to the crime scene. Every day, it's on my mind," Tim Slaten said. The Slaten sons were backed by family members, many of whom traveled in from out of state to attend the hearing, even though their mother was not present on Wednesday or any other day in their adult lives. "It is significant. I'm extremely blessed to have the family and friends I do," said Jeff Slaten. "I adore every single one of you all." Joseph had pretended to be unaware of the crime when first questioned in September 1981, and said he had only ever met Linda once. But after being taken into custody, his story abruptly altered, and he insisted that he had gone to the Slaten's house at her request in order to have sex. He added that Linda had already passed away while engaging in consenting intercourse and already had the hanger around her neck. However, the prosecution refuted his claims by presenting proof that the conduct that night was not consensual. Finally, in February 2022, 61-year-old Joseph admitted to killing the single mother and sexually assaulting her. He was therefore spared the death penalty and given a life sentence without the chance of parole. The Reception and Medical Center in Union County, Florida, is where he is presently doing his sentence. Well everyone, that's it. The video for today has come to an end. Do you believe you could have found the murderer in this case? If so, please remark your thoughts in the comment section down below on how you would do it. You may work as a CID. What were your thoughts about this twisted case? If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to check out our channel for more crime-related content. Until the next video, take care. Goodbye.